Hey everyone, we've got a lot of questions in our videos about the training visa. So we're going to be going over some of those comments, we're going to be reading them out and trying to answer your queries in a video format. Now let's talk about some of these questions. Will it be risky to apply this visa after demonstrating all the qualifications and work experience if your visitor visa has been refused or you've had a student visa refusal from any other country? Now, this plays a big factor if you've had a visa refusal from any country, especially Australia, or if you've had a visa rejection for a student visa from any country. This is because the department wants to ensure that you are a genuine temporary entrant, even if it is for the training visa, that the training opportunity being provided is genuine and it will not adversely affect other opportunities to other Australians that are already here in Australia, including permanent residents and citizens. So yes, your visa history will play a part. So as long as you can back it up and make strong cases, you can overcome this. Now, the second question is about the delays in the processing times for all of these applications. One of the main reasons is due to the high demand of the training visa. The processing times have increased significantly. They've gone from the start of the year where they were about 2 to 3 months to about 6 months or 4 to 6 months at the moment. So please expect delays because this visa is going to continue to become more and more popular, which will create a further backlog for the department. Now, in terms of the English requirements, we have a question: can I take IELTS academic for the 407 training visa? Yes, you can. All you need to demonstrate is functional English. The definition of functional English can actually be found on the Department of Home Affairs website. So for example, if you've attended 2 years full-time in a English-speaking institution at a higher education level, or 5 years at a secondary school level, or 5 years in primary and 3 years at higher secondary level, then if you've attended 1 year full-time equivalent in Australia studying a diploma, bachelor degree, trade qualification will also be accepted. So check out the functional English requirements, and then there are different formats of tests that can be accepted, like the IELTS General or Academic. Then you got the PTE Academic, CAE and other ones. So check that out. Now, next question: can a 407 visa holder change to student visa? Yes, you can. So you can go from student visa to 407 training visa, or vice versa. One of the changes that came into effect from 1st July 2024 is that you can't go from a graduate visa or a visitor visa to a student visa, but you can actually go from a visitor visa to a training visa. But you have to make sure that you have an employer who can sponsor you. Otherwise, you would not be able to get the training visa. The training visa does require a company to sponsor you for training purposes. The other question that we get a lot is, can you help me find a sponsor? Unfortunately, we do not assist in that aspect in terms of the training visa. So if you are looking for a sponsor, you'll need to find your own sponsors, reach out to companies or recruitment agencies or internship program providers, and see if you're able to find someone that really suits what you're looking for and where you want to enhance your skills. We can of course help you facilitate in all of the legal immigration process for both the company and you as the visa applicant. Now, we've covered a little bit about how you can find sponsors. Now, the other way that you could possibly do this, and make sure you're careful when you do the research, is go on to websites like seek.com.au and Indeed, which are both platforms where jobs are advertised, but generally they're advertised for skilled workers, not for training purposes. The other question we get is when a lot of people are looking to come into Australia to attend an examination, mainly for health-related occupations. Now, one of the questions we have is, can my wife come to Australia to attend an exam as part of her AMC, which is related to the medical side, which is a skill assessing authority which executes the exam. Now, she can come to Australia. My advice would be the visitor visa under the tourist stream and not actually the training visa, because they won't be working for any organization. One of the main things that you can use the training visa for is, for example, once she clears this exam and she requires, for example, 1 year of experience under supervision to get her full registration, then she can use the registration stream to actually come to Australia and obtain that training for registration purposes, which is the first stream. The second stream is called Enhancing Skills Stream, which is purely about enhancing skills in a particular occupation, and that occupation must be on the government's list that has been approved for the training visa. One of the other questions that we get is, can I work anywhere else, or can I own a business while I am on a training visa? The simple answer is no, you cannot work anywhere else. Technically speaking, you can own a business, but you cannot work for that business, because you should only be working in the approved training activity while you're on this visa. Now, in terms of the processing times again, there's a question about which one is quicker. Is it going to be the registration stream or the enhancing skill stream? In our experience, the registration stream is a little bit quicker versus the enhancing skill stream. The enhancing skill stream is not as quick as the registration stream, and that's purely because the enhancing skill stream has a bit more checks and the training plan is quite detailed that the department may need to go over. Now, how many days does it take for the company to be an approved sponsor for the training visa? At the moment, we're experiencing delays with the sponsorship approvals, so please make sure you bear that in mind. We've had anywhere around 2 to 3 months being taken at the moment. Generally, they used to be approved quite quickly, but it shouldn't be a big issue. If you've got a good agent or lawyer on your side, they should be very careful and should have covered everything as part of their checks when they lodge the application. I've only on a very rare occasion heard that a sponsorship has gotten refused very recently, and that was probably because the client decided to lodge the sponsorship themselves and not enough checks and evidence was provided to back up their application for sponsorship. Okay, so one of the final questions we have is, can we lodge nomination and visa at the same time for the 407 training visa? Yes, you can, but they need to be in that order. So sponsorship, nomination, visa. Maybe the company already has a sponsorship. That means you'll only lodge a nomination and a visa. You can lodge them on the same day, but they need to be right after each other. So please make sure you bear that in mind when you do decide to lodge your applications. If the sponsorship is refused, it will probably affect your nomination and visa because they will be considered as not lodged. So make sure you have a strong sponsorship application that it will get approved if you're lodging all 3 applications on the same day. Now, if the nomination and visa get refused, but the sponsorship is approved, you may be still able to apply for appeal for the nomination and the visa application. And if you're on a bridging visa, that bridging visa will then continue based on the fact that you've appealed your 407 training visa refusal. Now, final 3 questions. Can we change our host organization? You can change your host organization in certain cases, depending on if a company is being bought out or whether you're actually changing to a different company. You will need to wait for the new nomination and visa to be approved before you can start working in that new activity or training being provided by that new company. Second last question, do you need experience for the 407 training visa? Now, for the registration stream, you actually don't need the experience. Now, the other main stream that we cover is enhancing skills, and for that you need 12 months of experience in the last 24 months. Now, that experience can be a combination of study or practical, or only study or only practical. So 12 months full-time equivalent experience in the last 24 months. Now, for the final question, in terms of quotation for the 407 training visa, head to our website and contact us to get a quotation on this. Generally speaking, it ranges depending on how many applications we're being appointed for, whether it's all 3, 2, or 1, and what kind of work needs to be covered as part of that application. Right, so if you have any questions, contact us on info@migrationcentralofaustralia.com.au. You can also reach out to our partner company, training@mckkrs.com.au. And if you have time to book a consultation, you can do that directly to discuss your concerns via www.migrationcentralofaustralia.com.au. Those consultations will be booked directly with me, and we'll be able to help guide you on what the best pathway or strategy will be to either for the training visa or any other visa that you're interested in.